All right, so now we're still with the 4x beadboard circle bounce. Now we're going to switch it out. And what we've done is one side is beadboard, the other side is foam core. So now we're able to clamp that. Foam core is a slightly harder source. It's got a sheen to it, which helps you aim the bounce very nicely, but the quality is a little harder, and you're going to notice that around this nose shadow that's happening right here. So now let's aim this in. You can see how it gets nice and hot at one particular position, which is right there, and that's our sheen angle. And we go over here, we're looking at our skin tones that are falling in perfectly at our 55 to 65 range. And this is a little harder of a source. You can kind of see her nose shadow is a little harder than the beadboard. But basically, we continue to keep the circle bounce. She's got the beautiful reflection in her eye. And let's have a little more fill. A little more fill. Coming up, and hold there. All right, look to your left. Look up a little higher. Nice. Okay, come around. A little further to the right. Okay, now come back slowly. Beautiful. All right, if there had to be my favorite bounce source, it would be the bleach muslin. It is so matte and so perfect in its color tone, as well as not having any kind of sheen angle whatsoever. So let's take a look at this. All right, Monette, so let's look right at your close-up camera, and let's go ahead and look to your left. And look to your right, and then slowly back to camera. Very nice. And stop down a little bit on that. That's gone really hot. Stop down, stop down, stop down. Oh, back open a little bit. Oh, right there. Nice. Okay. All right. So this is looking very nice on her. Let's do this one last time. So open up just a squeak there, Jeremy. Open up, right there. Great. Okay, so look to your left, and back to your right, and now slowly. Nice. All right, so we're using a bleach muslin bounce. Again, we're 8 feet away. This source has, just like I said, there's no reflective nature other than, there's no kick angle, let's say, to it. It has a floppy side to it as well. So if you want to make a bigger source, you can make it into a 4x8. You can go horizontal with that, or you can put 2 of them together and you can create an 8x8 bounce. This is what's so powerful about these type of fabrics. Now, what I've done, if beadboard is not soft enough for me, I will literally take the bleach muslin fabric and I coat my circle bounce with the bleach muslin. So I literally wrap the fabric over it, so I can have a bleach muslin bounce and then foam core on the other side. Or I have beadboard on the other side here, and then I'll coat the bleach muslin on the foam core side. So I can have a little more punch or not as much punch as well going with the fabric and the muslin. But these floppies are very cool. And like I said, now let's look at this source for a second. So Larry, you're going to help me out here. We're going to fly it horizontally. So just hold this like that. Now, no, hold that end. So you're creating the source to be bigger. No, the floppy side. So we're just going to hold that like that. So, and so now we've created a larger source on her. So let's come in a little closer. And let's make this, let's do it old school here for a second. Go and get me the other one. So we'll just do two of them side by side so we can create a larger area. So now we're creating a 4x8 source with bleach muslin. Okay, another stand. So if we wanted to wrap a little more, we can now create this as a much wider source, which again is going to make it softer. Get my kick angle. Okay, let's adjust our skin tones. They're looking good. All right, now we'll go in. Her nose shadow is much softer by going with a full 4x8 source with the bleach muslin. But these are something that I always carry on the truck. It's like the bleach muslin. I also have ultra bounces, and then I also take the round circle bounce and coat that with a bleach muslin source as well. But hands down, probably the softest material that you can really bounce because it does not have any highlight, and then you can drive light through it as well, which is a very, very soft source as well. So let's do that, Larry. Let's take our 1K and we're going to drive it through. So let's just we'll just use one of these. So we'll pop that out of there. We'll come in here. This is going to be our source that we're going to fire the light through. We'll move this in nice and close. Okay. We'll take our 1K. We're all plugged in there. Okay. Nope. There we go. All right. Flood it out a little bit. Okay, now we'll kill our in-arrow bounce, and now we're just driving light through the bleach muslin. So we'll probably have to widen out our camera, or open up. Are you wide open on that one? There you go, nice. All right, open up on the wide, very nice, okay. But you can see the source is harder. The bounce light was much softer, and you're actually getting kind of a hard nose shadow, because when you look at the bleach muslin source, you can actually see the physicality. You can see the Fresnel right through it. So to try and help that, let's go to our floppy, And let's flop this baby. We'll flatten it. And we'll go double muslin here. Okay. Now, I'm looking at it. I still see the Fresnel, but not as intense. And obviously, we are wide open. And let's go wide open on the cameras. Okay, good. Wide, open up. Right there, good. Okay, and that hard nose shadow we've gotten rid of by shooting it through muslin. So, muslin as a source, I use it much more as a bounce than I would to actually drive light through it. Let's say the original bounce in very large sizes was the black and white Griffon. That's what we have up right now on Monette. We've taken a 6x and we've kind of clamped it onto a 4x frame so we can keep the distance, which is 8 feet away from our subject. The height of the center of the bounce is like 7.5 feet. And this bounce is a fairly soft source, but it has a hard kickness to it. So let's look at Monette. Go ahead and go look to your left. And now look to your right. And now come back slowly. There you go. So she has a slight nose shadow there that's, you know, I would say, I don't know, it's somewhere in between a foam core and an ultra bounce. Maybe it's not as soft as a beadboard or a bleach muslin. You can see from the side, it has a very kind of highly reflective surface. So depending on what I've always had in the past, when the wind blows in my day exteriors, that thing will go woof, 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 you know, be flopping around and stuff, and you can actually see the bounce source undulate and go up and down. So we kind of went to ultra bounce, which is a softer source for these larger fabrics and materials, and then that way when the wind blows and your bounce is undulating, it doesn't fluctuate. But the source is now on Monette. You can see that it definitely has a kick angle because I can intensify this bounce by really getting that kick on her and making it even harder of a source. Like right there, it's the perfect highlight angle on the sheen, and we've made her nose shadow even more pronounced, and it's a lot brighter. So let's stop down on the close-up a little bit there, Jeremy. Right there. And the wide shot as well. Right there. Great. And this quality of light, again, this was kind of our original source, this very, very, 12 by 12, 6 by 6, 20 by 20, the black and white Griff. Now, it has a black side as well. Now, this black side is also reflective. So if you kind of see it here, it has a very kind of kicky black. So you can kind of use it as a negative fill source, but it does, if you're using hard lights, I always have a problem where, you know, it will actually ricochet off of this and create weird shadows on set. So the Ultra Bounce is a much more matte surface. So this doesn't have as reflective of a source, of a side. So go ahead and whip that around, Larry, so we can have the bounce source. There you go. Yeah, so the Ultra Bounce is much more matte. It has a slightly sheeny surface, but not as kicky as the black and white Grifflon. But still very cheap, inexpensive fabric, not as expensive as the Ultra Bounce or a bleach muslin. Now we're moving on to what we call black and white show card. It's a very thin art card fabric that I've actually coved. In the wide shot, you can see that it has a nice kind of bend to it. This kind of focuses your bounce as well, so it doesn't fly all over the place. Gives you a little, I do this all the time for backlights. I'll put a whole line of show card and actually run a piece of tape from the top to the bottom, and it will cinch it and cove it very nicely so it contains that bounce. So when people walk underneath doors, the bounce doesn't fly onto the top of their head until they get more into the room, and then it backlights them. It's a very nice kind of little trick to do. You can see how thin this material is. It's about 1/4 inch thick, so it's fragile, but it's very cheap. You can order, I think we got like 12, 15 sheets of it for like 25 bucks. So it's a great, and it's very matte as well. Let's look at Monette over here. She's got, now it's a little harder because the source is smaller. We're only 30 inches by 40 inches, so it's not a big 48 by 48 bounce. So if you had to use this smaller size, we could go with a booklight scenario to be able to soften it up. So let's go ahead and look to your left. And now look to your right. And slowly come back. All right, now let's diffuse her. Let's diffuse her with a booklight scenario. We're going to use Silent Quarter Grid from Roscoe. I really love this grid cloth over 216, 250, 251 because grid cloth has a nice yellow tone to it. And yellow is very nice with skin, just a slight bit of yellowing. Go a little higher with that, Larry. There you go. So now we've taken a very, you know, a source that's much smaller, and we've enlarged it by going with this booklight scenario. Let's make sure our skin tones, let's open up on the tight there, Jeremy. Wide open. We're wide open. Copy that. Open up on that one a little bit more. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So now we have our booklight scenario. Go ahead and look to your left. And back to your right. And now slowly come back to camera. Nice. So let's have, grab me another piece of show card over there, Larry. And we're going to kind of show them how to do this little cove bounce that I talked about with white tape. There should be two black and whites, there should be. Okay? So this cove bounce that I'm describing, you would hang over door frames with people walking in, and let me have your white camera tape there, Larry. You do it on each end. Oh, now one more. Do a little thing like that. Okay, we'll do another one right here. Okay, so as you can see, with it being like a cove, you can angle it so you would hang your source, whether it's, you know, whatever you want to do, an LE bank or a small Toda or something into this thing. So if I was like this, okay, Larry, go ahead and hold this like that. Okay. All right. Now, if I'm physically walking underneath this, because it's coved, it's not going to cast that top light down on my head. I'm going to walk into it and it will actually look like a backlight instead of this weird kind of top that would create, you know, more of like what this is here. As I walk underneath it, you know, I'm immediately starting to get that light. But if it was coved like what Larry is showing, okay, see, I don't get it till it's actually a backlight. All right, so these are nice little tricks and tips that you can use with a source that is easy to bend and shape. That's show card.